Hey, it's Joe AMoia, founder and creator of GPSforlove.com. Have you ever given your heart and soul to a guy and he betrayed you by cheating on you with someone else? Or have you ever been in a relationship with a guy who never could give you his heart because he couldn't be faithful? Well, if so, I want you to pay close attention because I want to give you some insight into the real reasons why guys cheat. What I believe is that there are actually four specific reasons behind why guys cheat. The first is they simply don't feel good about themselves. And this is when they're in relationships with other people, with women who don't build up their egos, who emasculate them, who constantly put them down. See, us guys, we have huge egos. We have a huge desire to feel like we're the best thing in your life. And so if we don't feel like that, if we're constantly being put down, if we're constantly being emasculated, well, we're going to look for other areas. Now, look, I'm not justifying, I'm not saying that it's the best way to do it. I'm just trying to give you a little insight into why this happens. So that's the first reason. The second reason is for guys who are simply afraid of commitment. They're afraid of being trapped. They kind of use cheating as an escape. It gives them a reason not to commit, not to be faithful. And again, I'm not justifying this. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just trying to give you a little insight into what's going on in the mind of some guys. The third is that they're simply bored. Okay, there's an old expression: if you have filet mignon every day, it turns into hamburger. Well, again, I'm not justifying it, but for some guys who don't understand the value of commitment, what they do is they need to get that need for excitement met. And so instead of trying to spice it up in the bedroom, they go and get that need met in a different way. And the fourth reason is that they're simply selfish. You've heard me say this all the time. There's a difference between the men and the boys. Well, the boys are the guys who just simply want what they want when they want it, and they can care less how their choices and decisions affect you or any other woman. Okay, not the best guys to be in relationships with. Now, one of the things that you'll see that all these reasons have in common is that on some level there's an emotional payoff to it. There's an emotional benefit to it. See, everything we do as human beings, including cheating on someone, is because it meets an emotional need. One of my mentors, Tony Robbins, says that a human being will violate their values in order to get their needs met. Now, I'm not proud to admit this, but when I was in my early 20s, I was really in love with someone. But I also worked with a girl that I was completely infatuated with. And I was just mesmerized by this woman. And I just wanted her in the worst way. And I'm not proud to admit this, but I wound up cheating on the person that I was really in love with. And I look back now, and I would never do that now. That was part of my maturation process, how the universe works. I also wound up having somebody who cheated on me and got to see what that was like on the other side. And, realize that, what, if I am ever going to be in a relationship with someone where I want to cheat on them, then they're simply not the right person for me. So I want you to understand is that sometimes guys can be good guys and still cheat. But that doesn't negate the fact that that's not a characteristic that you shouldn't have in a partner. Okay, you need to be with someone who can be faithful, who is willing to be faithful, and who wants to be faithful. Now, I know some of you are listening to this going, yeah, but what can I do? How can I do things a certain way to guarantee that a guy won't cheat on me? Now, here's the honest truth. There is nothing you can do that will guarantee, because honestly, there are no guarantees. There is no guarantee that my wife isn't going to cheat on me tomorrow. I highly doubt it. I bet pretty much everything I own against it because of the type of person she is, but there is no guarantee. And one of the things that makes me try and show up and be the man that she doesn't want to cheat on is by making sure that I do everything not to give her reasons to excuse, to make sure that she's never bored, that she feels valued, that she feels appreciated, that she's being built up and she feels like she's the most special person on the face of the earth. And I can tell you as a guy, the reason that I don't feel like cheating on my wife is because of how she makes me feel and how she shows up in my life and how she shows me that she's the best thing that ever happens. So the difference for me now versus that boy I was when I was 20 is I now realize that cheating would be the biggest mistake because it's not worth risking what I currently have. And so if you want to do something that will increase your chances that a guy will never cheat on you, simply show him that you are the best thing that ever happened to him and his life. And if you do that, I promise a man will never cheat on you. And if he does, he's not the right guy for you, or he's a boy. Well, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever been cheated on? If so, what are the reasons you think the guy cheated on you? Now that you have the four reasons, and more importantly, what do you need to do to go forward to make sure that you're the woman that a guy will never cheat on? As always, it's an honor and privilege. Love to hear from you. I'll see you next time. Much love.